Fruchten coming here there und wunderbar and welcome to another Mickey's Roundtable adventure. Earlier this month, October 9th, 2023 to be specific, I decided I was going to head over to the Norway Pavilion over there at Epcot. October 9th is Leif Erickson Day. Leif Erickson was the Norse Viking explorer that many believe was the first European to set foot on the North American continent. I decided that since I would like to do a video on each one of the country pavilions there at Epcot, I would go on a date of cultural or historic significance, a holiday, something like that, that is related to each one of those pavilions. So since it was going to be Leif Erickson Day, I thought, yep, this is the day. I'll go and check out the Norway Pavilion and make a little video about it for you. The Norway Pavilion was the last of the current pavilions that was introduced to Epcot way back in 1988. They haven't added a new one since. The pavilion debuted with an attraction called Maelstrom. You boarded a Viking ship and you sailed through Norwegian, Scandinavian history. That's since been changed. Some people find that highly offensive. I see the point. The pavilions at Epcot are supposed to reflect the culture and heritage of the country, and then Disney decided, you know what, we're going to inject one of our new animated feature films into that pavilion.
Let it go! Let it go!
On the one hand, you've got countries being represented and their history and their culture, and then on the other hand, the stories that Disney has been putting into those pavilions come from those cultures, are rooted in those cultures, or those cultures inspired the stories that are being told. The Disney movie Frozen was an adaptation of the story The Snow Queen by author Hans Christian Andersen. Hans Christian Andersen, not a Norwegian, he was Danish, still Scandinavia. That being said, as I understand it, there's very little resemblance from the original story, The Snow Queen, and what they ended up with Frozen. But it did originate with that story and with that culture in that area of the world. The new Frozen attraction, relatively new Frozen attraction, is quite popular. Part of that is because the movie was popular. Part of it is because it's a pretty good ride. The other part, there's not a whole ton of rides at Epcot. There should be more, there could be more, and so I think people, especially those with kids, end up going to Frozen. And I was there first thing in the morning. The line was halfway to China, the Epcot Pavilion, not the actual country China, that is. So it was I think it was about an hour and a half wait for me. And the worst part was not the wait, but the fact that there was a family with kids in front of me and a family with kids behind me, and they have to touch everything, they have to hang on everything, they have to climb on everything. It's October, so, it's Halloween time, and Halloween you think of as, being geared towards kids. There's a reason for that. They're a bunch of little monsters. Okay, it wasn't that bad. Frozen, of course, is another Disney film that has fantastic songs. I just did a video on The Lion King, and like The Lion King, there are a number of very classic, very catchy, wonderful, fantastic songs that are throughout the attraction.
Come on, let's go and play. Elsa wants to give us all some fun. She's making everyone a snowy summer day.
Coolest parts of Frozen Ever After, the ride, is, and this was true of Maelstrom too, you head up a big conveyor belt and you get up to the top and you get to go backwards down the slope, and then when you get down to the end, the boat turns a little bit and then you go down another hill, you get to go forward. missing from the new attraction that was there from the old attraction as far as the ride path and the whole thing. It goes in the same spot. But the old attraction, Maelstrom, it would actually go outside. And if you're outside, you can see there's a waterfall there. Right there, they closed that all in, and you used to have the boat come out the end into the outside before heading forward again. And then the Norway Pavilion has, like all of the other pavilions there at Epcot, there's various shopping areas. And then they have a Stav Church. So a Stav Church is a Christian church that were common in Norway and throughout Scandinavia. And inside the replica church there is a, well, it's a display of pagan gods for some reason. Odin, Loki, Frida, Thor, with no reference to the Christian roots of the church. Anyway, right next door you will find the Anna and Elsa meet and greet, the main characters from the Frozen movies. The characters there are very good, and they're very sweet, and they're very nice, and they will try to chat you up. And so I just said, oh, let's just get the photo, and I think I threw Anna off a little bit. Originally, the area where that meet and greet is was planned to be a Denmark pavilion. They were going to get Lego to sponsor it, and that kind of fell through, so it never really happened. But there was going to be like a Lego boat ride, canal ride, and then a reproduction, a themed area themed to the Tivoli Gardens. The Tivoli Gardens is a theme park, amusement park in Copenhagen, Denmark, that Walt Disney was inspired by when he was building Disneyland. He actually went to Denmark to visit that. So that would be a fantastic tie-in to Disney history. You could tie it into the Disney stories. Not only was the Snow Queen authored by Hans Christian Andersen, but another hot Disney property from the Disney Renaissance, The Little Mermaid, was also authored by Hans Christian Andersen from Denmark. And then in Copenhagen, there's also a Little Mermaid statue. So you could do a statue out in the harbor there, out in the lake of the Little Mermaid. It would be fantastic. They need a Viking ship out there too. I was there and I was thinking about it. That would be cool, right out on the waterfront. And then I thought, well, you know what? That would block the use of fireworks and stuff. No, you put it there, and then you let people come out there and watch the fireworks from the Viking ship. How cool would that be? And then it would tie into both Denmark and Norway. Anyway, so I decided to get myself something to eat at the Kringla Bakery Cafe. I decided to go with the traditional Norwegian lefse. The other option for dining there in Norway is the Akershus Royal Banquet Hall. Now this is a sit-down restaurant. It's princess meet and greet dining, so the princesses will come out and come by your table and you can get your photos with them. I did this earlier this summer. Some friends were visiting and they said, hey, we're gonna grab something to eat. Do you want to join us? And I said, sure. So my friends were there with their son and his wife and the grandkids who were not little monsters. So yeah, that was a good day. Norway is a fun pavilion to visit. Maelstrom, Frozen Ever After is a fun ride to go on. I do understand the controversy about changing it from Maelstrom to Frozen Ever After and trying to insert Disney properties in. But then again, you know, these stories come from these cultures and or were inspired by these cultures. So maybe you just need to let it go. See what I did there? So anyway, I let it go as well and headed on out. On my way out, I walked around the World Showcase and ended up going by all of the pavilions, including the Italy Pavilion, because coincidentally enough, it was not only Leif Erickson Day, it was also Columbus Day, which doesn't happen every day. Doesn't even happen every year. So Columbus Day in the United States anyway is celebrated on the second Monday of October, whereas Leif Erickson Day is a specific day, October 9th every year. So every year, Leif Erickson Day ends up on a different day, whereas Columbus Day is always on the same day of the week. And this year they happen to coincide. So, yeah. So until next time, this has been Mickey's Roundtable. We'll see you real soon.